I love the Kimmel story. I'm not glad he got fired because that is a holy grail job. It absolutely, positively has to suck to lose that job, which is one of the main reasons why, if you get that job, you're supposed to respect that job.
I think he's got a point.
What do you mean by that, Jimmy? What do you mean respect the job? He showed up. He wasn't late. He wasn't like skipping gigs. No. What I'm saying is he got hired to be a late night comedian. But was he fulfilling his duties as a late night comedian who was uniting the country over the shared reality of life in this country itself and giving us a chance to go to bed relaxed with a smile on our face?
Not even close.
And that's not to say they weren't doing funny things from time to time, but there's nobody watching Jimmy Kimmel, whether you liked it or you didn't like it. There's nobody watching it that thought this was a guy just bargaining with an audience in good faith. He was getting on TV every night and telling you Trump is literally Hitler. Again, I will ask you this again. I said this yesterday. You host a late night show. You are the last thing they're going to see on TV before they shut it off and go to bed. Okay? The reason late night became popular is because people want to go to bed with a smile on their face. You don't really get to do that when the host of the late night show is telling you the Nazis are already here. You don't understand. They're in power. Our democracy's under attack. The guy cried when Donald Trump won the election.
That was embarrassing.
He cried. I mean, really think about that. Okay, as comics, you have one obligation to your audience, make them laugh. He did the opposite of laughter. He cried. The opposite of the gig. Imagine you went to a strip club, and every time they played another song, the woman put on another layer of clothing. Every time a new song, you know?
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
That's what you'd say. You'd be like, what do you mean? This is a reverse stripper. She's not stripping. That was Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, so all of these protests, all of this First Amendment nonsense, let me give you the inside baseball. We're all represented by the same agencies. All the agencies talk to each other. Everybody knows the deal. Okay, his contract was going to be up later this spring. There was no chance they were renewing that show at the budget it had of $100 million a year, with ratings that have fallen every single year since 2013. Since 2013. So his ratings have been going down consistently for 12 years, expedited by the fact that it's now turned into, just a well-dressed group therapy session. The show is done. Okay, a lot of people are going to get behind some free speech argument because Brendan Carr has been, to be clear, very mouthy for an FCC chairman. He's doing podcasts. He's weighing in on shows. Maybe we should take a look at The View. He's saying things like that.
Shut up! Will you shut up?
Which does give the left side of the aisle a legitimate, bargaining chip in this argument. Hey, you got the FCC guy saying this is garbage. We might sanction it. Next thing you know, the affiliates who already hated it and were already losing money pulled all their support. And that's how the Jimmy Kimmel thing ends. They're not putting it back on the air. Okay, and the liberals will say it was because of the FCC. Now, to be clear, the FCC might have sped the plow, but was there any chance Jimmy Kimmel was going to be on a year from now? I have a better chance of being Miss Universe. Although, to be clear, that's not a very good reference these days because men can be Miss Universe.
What the hell is the world coming to?
So here are all the performative martyrdom things you'd expect from the Jon Stewarts, from the Stephen Colberts, the people who did this to late night, the people who dragged Kimmel down this road. I don't doubt they feel an obligation. Do you want the history of late night really quick? Really quick. Okay, Jimmy Fallon, when he took over the Tonight Show, after, if you remember, they'd given it to Conan. Conan, who's super talented, was better at 12:30, they felt, than he was at 11:30, taking over for Leno. So Conan wasn't rating particularly well in the beginning, and it became problematic enough that they didn't think his style suited the slightly older audience at 11:30 than the younger one he was playing to at 12:30. That's where this started. So as Conan began to have problems, they gave Jay Leno his own show just to get him back on the air somewhere, keep him in fighting shape. And within 6 months, they just flat out took the show away from Conan and replaced him with Leno.
That's just how white folks will do you.
Now, Leno, who of course revered The Tonight Show and had hosted it already for like 25 years, got it back on its feet, got it back up to number one in the ratings, and then retired and handed it off to Jimmy Fallon. Handed it off to Jimmy Fallon. I will never forget it. I was a cab driver doing comedy, and the Daily News interviewed myself and Tom Shalhoub. We didn't even know each other at the time. And they interviewed ourselves, both of us, together, about the Tonight Show moving back to New York and what it meant to us. And we just randomly wound up in that interview, me and Tom Shalhoub, and we've been friends ever since. That was probably, 2014, 2015? I have no idea. I wasn't working at Fox yet, so I didn't know him. But the point is, Fallon brings the Tonight Show back east. It's a really big deal. He premieres with 10 million viewers and wins late night. Literally wins late night, every week, for as long as that show is running. Things don't go sideways for him for quite a while. Okay, he's doing a variety show. It's not anti-Trump. It's not woke. It's not, like left-wing rage bait like what late night has become. Okay, and what happens is Letterman essentially decides to retire. Now, one of the reasons he decided to retire is he was up against it. He was getting his ass handed to him by Fallon, and CBS didn't want to sit there and have a late show host that was literally twice the age of the other network's option. Okay, Fallon was a younger, hipper show. The roots were there. They got Questlove, a bunch of cool black dudes in a band playing all kinds of jams. Jimmy Fallon's doing a lot of goofy sketches with musical instruments and cracking eggs on celebrities' heads. It's just a hotter show. That's all it was. Letterman was great. He was revered. I mean, he's like an icon to me. Okay, but understand he had to go. So they brought over Colbert, who was a big deal on Comedy Central, where he was doing a very one-note show. His show, The Colbert Report on Comedy Central, was a character. They were mocking Bill O'Reilly every night by pretending to be this over-the-top, absurdist, right-wing cable news pundit who would scream and yell and overreact to everything and act like everything the world was on fire. Okay? And it rated. People liked the character. Okay? It was an outgrowth of what he was doing on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, where everything was, funny, well-written, and a one-note leftist take on every single issue. Young kids liked it because liberals had the monopoly on the youth vote in this country at the time. The truth is, you probably couldn't gear a left-wing comedy show at young kids now because they've been told everything's a protected class on the left and you're not allowed to laugh at anything. I mean, really. And we know that the zeitgeist shifted 44 points to the right. That's been the aftermath of what we've learned, in regards to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Charlie Kirk drove the youth vote, the male youth vote, to Donald Trump by 44 points between 2020 and 2024, a 44-point swing. The youth vote as a whole swung by 29 points, which means a lot of young women swung to Trump just the same. That's a big deal. It actually threw the election to Trump. I mean, straight up. You understand the Republicans are the hipper party with the youth now. They are, for the first time in forever. But when Trump got into politics, Jimmy Fallon, who was killing it on The Tonight Show, had Donald Trump on, which made perfect sense because he was a host on NBC just like Jimmy Fallon. He had already hosted Saturday Night Live once. He had the highest rated primetime show in the network for 15 straight years. It was called The Apprentice. It spawned a spinoff called The Celebrity Apprentice. Donald Trump was as mainstream America as mainstream gets. Okay? Everybody knew Donald. Like the Clintons went to his wedding. He was on The View. He hung out with Barbara Walters. He did Oprah all the time. He was on Howard Stern every week. He was not a fringe loony. But when Jimmy Fallon had Trump on The Tonight Show, everybody set their hair on fire. You normalized this autocrat, this dictator. Hitler's running for president. Jimmy Fallon just made him seem like a good guy. And they all turned on Jimmy Fallon. So much so that the backlash triggered a serious hit to his ratings. And Colbert, who had just launched and was losing in the ratings just the same, was like, hey, they didn't like Colbert when he went from playing a character on Comedy Central to a regular late-night show who just had to be that snarky personality. But lo and behold, Trump's entry into politics created an opening for a late-night show like Colbert's, where people were so collectively outraged in the media by their own manufactured hysteria relating to Trump that they literally bought into it. Like Colbert could come out every night and be like, no, this is it. Guys, we're going down. Death camps. It ain't good. Russia controls the government. We're in bad shape. And that's the road they went down. And it was working. In the beginning of Trump's presidency, he was the highest rated guy in late night for quite some time. Obviously, there's a lot of mimicry in TV. Okay, success has 1,000 fathers. Failure is an orphan. Okay, that's why a lot of those other late night shows suddenly went radical left wing. Fallon was paying reparations for normalizing Trump. Colbert was just doing Colbert. Kimmel, who is talented and has a very capable writing staff, saw that they were some type of liberal gold in those hills, so he started being a face of the resistance just the same and devoted his show to attacking Trump just the same. And lo and behold, what happened to late night, this is even before little old Greg Gutfeld got in, our lovable comedy dwarf here at Fox, okay, is they started to alienate people, not just who disagreed with them, but people who agreed with them. Understand? You know, people would say, oh, Colbert, you can't watch it unless you agree with it. Great. But even if you do agree with it, how many times can you watch him tell you Trump is Hitler? Or do an embarrassing vaccine? You can't. And everybody makes an excuse for late night. They go, well, social media, TikTok, the younger generation, you know, TV viewership's declining. All of that is true. But Fox News has its highest ratings in the history of this channel right now. So we must be doing something the other people aren't doing.
I think he's got a point.
Yeah, the point is they all suck, and they're completely full of and they're using their comedy shows not primarily for comedy. I'll say it again. When you're going to bed and you're watching a late night show on the way to bed, it's because you want to laugh and go to bed with a smile. You don't want a guy being like, Hitler's in charge now. There's not even going to be midterms. They're sending the feds into D.C. because everybody's black and they don't like them. You're like, all right, kids, shut out the light. Have some pleasant dreams. And you're like, ah! And that's what happened. Oh, hot damn. We're getting some bonus Katrina Campins. She is going to be on the Fox News Saturday Night panel tomorrow night. But right now, she's gracing us with a bonus camp. We get an extra 5 minutes of Katrina Campins. This is a big deal.
I ran here. Like, I was doing Fox on DCs, and I ran here, and everyone's like wanting to chat about something. I'm like, no, Jimmy's going to kill me.
No, don't you dare. I'm just happy to see you. I'm just happy to see you.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's a big deal. And I will have you again tomorrow night. It's a hot panel.
I'm really excited. You're stacked. I just told Jimmy I'm just the filler tomorrow night.
No, you're not. That's the point. It's Emily Compagno, Tommy Lahren, Katrina Campins, and Kilmeade.
I mean, I'm so lucky. No, seriously. Like, I'm blessed to be on this
so
panel
silly.
tomorrow.
You're so silly,
I love all the
Katrina.
ladies, too.
I know. It's a hot one.
Yeah.
I told somebody that I'm going to do the opening monologue like I always do and just not come back and just leave you three on camera and see if anybody notices. I'm actually just going to leave.
I just love these ladies that you're having on tomorrow, though. Like, they're awesome.
Yeah, it's
all
a hot,
around.
It's a hot one. It's a big girl power show. I'll probably have the most feminine jacket on the set, though. I mean, you know how this game gets played.
You got to wear pink.
You got to dial it back a little these days. But it's great to see you. Everything in the city is like, you know, it's fall. Everybody's there's a good vibe in the city right now. Next week, the UN comes and everyone is pissed.
I'm always here during that week, and this year I'm not, so everybody's complaining about it, and I'm like, I will be in Florida.
You're going to laugh, but as a cab driver, it's actually like the most lucrative week of the year because the only thing you're dropping off is hookers. Like,
oh my God, Jimmy.
I'm not even kidding. Because nobody else wants to be in the city because there's so much traffic and so many street closures. So you're just picking up a lot of like really good looking people that they're dressed for nighttime, but it's 8 a.m. and you're like, oh, I get it. Just, okay, I see here. And you learn your way around the embassies and everything like that, all cash. And I will just tell you this story while we're lucky enough to have you here. I got to know the street closures on the east side so well as a cabbie that 2 years ago when I was getting driven home from Fox, the driver was having a panic attack because we kept getting turned around, and I offered to drive. I was like, dude, I'm a licensed cab driver. I'm like, I understand this is like not your thing. I'm like, but I did this for like 10 years. I'm like, just get in it back, man. Have a drink. And he got in it back. He drank his coffee.
Oh, wait, he did it?
Yeah, and I drove him home. And the reason he agreed because his dispatcher was texting me asking if I had been like kidnapped because we weren't on the route. You know how they do that now and like Uber and stuff like that, the car services. Mm-hmm. So they were like, this is the 5th time you've gone off your route. Is everything okay? And I showed him. I'm like, your dispatcher's sending me distress text messages. I'm like, do you want to just like, take it easy and I'll show you a way around Queens? And I did. I drove him home.
That happened to me one time with a car that Fox had ordered for me when I landed in Florida. It was, I think, the girl's first time. Mm-hmm. And she put the wrong address in and she took me. And I was just so tired that I didn't even realize. Like an hour later, I'm like, wait, maybe I'm not home. But Ben's limo from here, was like calling like, are you here? Are you alive? Have you been kidnapped? I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm just in a different part of Florida I've never been.
That is amazing. Katrina Campins is here. We have another minute and 7 seconds. Let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying, Campins? So tomorrow night, you have been tasked with coming on the show and recapping Donald Trump's visit to the UK. And we're going to be playing a game called Show Us Your Brits. It's British trivia.
I saw this. I'm like, what's happening?
Don't use the panel. You've got some very capable people around you, but you'll be happy to know it's like really stupid, fun trivia.
I like that.
Fun.
I like it.
We're just trying to take the edge off. You know the way the show works.
Do I need to practice or study or
God,
anything?
no.
I'm such a dork that I'm like, how do I study for this?
No, we just want you to show up and do your thing. Look, we got a power panel. It's like a Charlie's Angels episode.
It really is. I'm so excited. I've never been on with so many women on your show.
It's a strong night.
Yeah.
It's a strong night for the ladies. You know what I mean? It is. Like I said, I'm only doing the opening monologue. You guys are on your own. The B block through the E block. Like, good luck finding me. It's gonna be like a Where's Waldo. I'm gonna be in the crowd.
And is Jenny gonna be there today too?
She may get through security. You never know. It's touch and go.
Because she should just join us. I mean, it's
She'll
just
be
a
there.
girl show today.
Hot damn, yeah. Why don't we do Fox News Saturday Night with Jenny Failer? How about it? Well, Campins, I'll see you in a green room at some point this weekend. Until then, enjoy the rest of your New York stay. You're the best.
Thanks for having me. As always.
Oh, shucks. The great Katrina Campins. There she goes. You want to know why we can't have nice things in this country? Really, everybody who tells you we have to unify, that whole thing. We need to lower the temperature. We need to unify. So all you white supremacist Nazis, join us at the Unity Party. Come on, you election-denying scum. I mean, that's really how the Democrats talk about Republicans, living or dead. I've played you those disgusting clips of Ilhan Omar. There's obviously a lot of Jasmine Crockett out there. But the House passed a resolution earlier today to acknowledge the death of Charlie Kirk, to mourn the death of Charlie Kirk. And this was an attempt at unity. Hey, can we just all agree that this is bad? You know, political violence. And they did pass it. That's the good news. But they couldn't pass it without getting a talking to from AOC.
AOC is a dope.
Now, you understand what I'm about to play you is significant because if you're reading inside the political, gossip circles right now, which are well beyond gossip, I've been telling you this for a while, she is going to run in 2028. AOC is going to run for president. There are all kinds of articles being written today, specifically today, saying she can't decide if she wants to be president or senator. But the truth is, what she's basically really trying to decide is if she should run for Senate and just try to catapult off that to the presidency, or she should go for the whole enchilada right now. Okay, that's the decision. She's going to do probably both, but the minimum is she's going to try to run for president. And Mamdani being her preferred candidate is one of the reasons that this election has such grave consequence for everybody around the country. If a stupid socialist who's running a lot of pie-in-the-sky stuff into the huddle that nobody can actually do gets elected, okay, Democrats just want to win elections. These are not principled people. And if they see that socialism worked and got a guy elected in New York, even though it's pretty liberal, they can try to sell it to young voters with these fresh-faced politicians you don't know anything about. Again, the people you know about in the Democratic Party, you have been seeing nonstop for like 2 frickin' decades. I mean,
Tell them like it is.
I mean more when you talk about the Bidens and the Pelosi's and the Clintons. Okay, but even Obama has been around now for 17 years. You've been watching him and Michelle leave one of 3 mansions, show up to some public speaking event where they get paid $1 million between them, and then give a lecture about how black people can't get ahead in this country. It's my favorite thing in the world. They literally took the 2 greatest living symbols of black achievement, a country that was founded at a time of institutional slavery. No country on earth has done more to level that playing field. We fought a civil war. 1% of the country owned slaves. We fought a civil war. The other 99% of us, and some of the one, okay, to end slavery. And we had a civil rights movement. And then, yes, we integrated society on such a whole-scale level that we eradicated mainstream racism. Is it out there? Yeah. But is it acceptable in polite society? Of course not. Of course not. Okay? Because racism is a byproduct of ignorance. People hated and feared things they didn't understand. Once we all lived together, as we do now in the most integrated society on planet, that is Earth, that is America. America is the most integrated society anywhere on Earth. We are. Most tolerant and inclusive society when it comes to religion, when it comes to women's rights, gay rights, minority rights, all of it. And Barack Obama is the first black president. The guy who literally helped America fulfill the promise that anyone could be anything here. It was official when he won. And instead, the Democrats have used his entire life in politics to sell us this notion that we're a racist hellhole, that black people are systemically oppressed, and you can never get ahead.
Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
They wrote it in their $100 million books. They say it on their $100 million Netflix series, and they go on speaking gigs a few times a year when they feel like hanging out with the stinky dirt people like you and me, and they give $1 million speeches about how this white supremacist country is oppressing minorities. And then they go home to one of three mansions. They've got the Martha's Vineyard Jam, pretty fancy. Obviously, the one out there in Hawaii. What does the Martha's Vineyard one and the Hawaii one have in common? Well, okay, they're both waterfront mansions, despite the fact that the Obamas told us sea levels were rising.
He is so full of shit, this guy.
But forget all that. Everybody in the public eye as a Democrat, every single person. Okay, not just the Obamas going home to the Martha's Vineyard mansion, the Hawaii mansion, the Chicago mansion, but the other Democrats. The Clintons have been around since 1991. Okay, Joe Biden has been in Washington since Washington. Like, he's been around, dude. Like, when Washington crossed the Delaware, Biden was sitting there in that beach chair. We're so familiar with seeing him in. You know, but the point is, they've been around. Nancy Pelosi's been around forever. They go back to Reagan. Joe Biden predates Reagan. So the idea that the Democrats could bring out some fresh-faced, young, stupid people that have big followings on TikTok, it is potent. And if Mom Donnie wins, I am telling you, they are going to do everything on heaven and earth to make AOC the nominee in 2028. Everything. It's a woman. Okay, she'd be this historic first. She's a Latina. That's significant because the Latino vote's going to really drive this thing, which is why Marco Rubio's probably going to be on one of these tickets. I mean it. Okay, and no one should be voting for someone because of their ethnicity. You should be voting based entirely on merit, but the fact remains we're living in that world, and that's fine. Okay, if you want to bring it down to who has the better Latino right now, I don't know how you grade such a thing, but I would take Marco Rubio in a debate over AOC any second of the week. But let's take it a step further. Okay, the Democrats need fresh new faces. AOC knows that. AOC knows between her and Mom Donnie, who's being funded by the elite billionaire class that bankrolls the Democratic Party, she knows she is the preferred favorite of the woke donor class. That's who she is. You're talking about, like, where's the Soros money going to go? It's going to go to AOC, okay, as it's going right now to Mom Donnie. Mom Donnie is running for mayor in New York City, and 95% of the money is coming from California. Really think about that. And they want to make the country California. So AOC today, watching the House take a vote on a resolution for Charlie Kirk, when she speaks now, because she's not doing the thing that Crockett is doing, okay, where she's literally posting a video or doing an interview 12 to 13 times a day. Okay, she's not doing the Nancy Mace thing where anything on earth that happens on earth, she's like, would you look at me? What about me? Okay, believe me, we have them in the Republican Party just the same. But the point is, okay, when AOC speaks, it is significant because you're about to hear the words of someone who has the elite donors behind them. So let's take a listen to her reaction to them passing a resolution in honor of Charlie Kirk and whether or not she'd even vote for it.
We should be clear about who Charlie Kirk was.
Ooh.
A man who believed that the Civil Rights Act that granted Black Americans the right to vote was a mistake.
Oh, God.
Who, after the violent attack on Paul Pelosi, claimed that, quote, some amazing patriot, unquote, should bail out his brutal assailant. And accused Jews of controlling, quote, not just the colleges, it's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it, unquote. His rhetoric and beliefs were ignorant, uneducated, and sought to disenfranchise millions of Americans, far from the working, quote, working tirelessly to promote unity, unquote, asserted by the majority in this resolution.
Oh, God. So we're here to honor a guy who's dead. And she's like, I've got it. I'm going to trash the guy. I mean,
In my opinion, that sucked.
it was awful, and it wasn't true. Do you get it? Do you know how many black members of Turning Point there are that don't buy this racist garbage? Do you know how many people in Israel are mourning the death of Charlie Kirk? Okay, do you know there's an online right-wing civil war? where people on the right align with AOC actually and say he doesn't like the Jews. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, his pastor and people who know him well seem to think he loved them just fine. But again, I don't want to speak for the dead guy, and I'm certainly not going to speak ill of any dead person. But there is AOC. Okay, that was the word of the money on high in the Democratic Party. That their approach is, this is not unity. Did that sound like they want to unify? That political violence is bad and we need to get together, mourn the loss of Charlie Kirk, hit the reset button, and learn how to be civil? No. She just told you the guy was a racist, anti-Semite. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, AOC is with the globalized, the Intifada people. She announced her support for Mamdani before any other politician. He's the Free Palestine guy. You know, the people chanting from the river to the sea, let's blow Israel off the map. That's who she represents. That's what kind of money is behind her. And she's telling you Charlie Kirk is this raging anti-Semite. He's going to get all the minorities killed if he has his way. It's so disgusting. And I don't think the Democrats get the wake-up call that was sent to the rest of the world. Let me tell you where we're at. And I'm going to take a few quick calls. Okay? And this is significant. Most of society, when I say most, I mean it's probably 60% of society, which is significant because guys win elections and lose elections these days, 51% of the vote. Okay, it is very significant. I might be wrong, and it might be higher, but it ain't lower. Most of society and the entirety of the Republican Party believes that Charlie Kirk is dead because Democrats have been mischaracterizing the words of Republicans for at least the past 10 years. That is a statement of fact. Okay, it's not my statement of fact. It's the FBI's statement of fact. Okay, the shooter's mother flat out said, yeah, we're a conservative family. This kid went down a lefty loony rabbit hole in the past year, unfortunately. Now he's dating furries and playing online sex games with furries and God knows what else. And now he's in this armed drag queen group up in Salt Lake City. And the next thing you know, he's shooting at Charlie Kirk. Okay, and why was he shooting at Charlie Kirk? As the text messages revealed, he believed some hate couldn't be negotiated with. Think of the insanity of that. Because Charlie Kirk was showing up to negotiate. Hey, free speech, guys, let's have a chit-chat. It's what I believe. Prove me wrong. Let's hear what you believe. Let's be friends. Let's talk about it. What was Charlie Kirk's signature position? We need to talk to people we disagree with, because when people don't talk, bad things happen. When couples don't talk, they eventually break up. When political opposites don't talk, there's eventually a war. He wanted to have the negotiation. You know who didn't? The left-wing radicals who believed everything AOC just said. So in the aftermath, she's out there giving license to all the other potential radicals that might go shoot a Republican. They want to run on you are the devil. They want to run on you want to kill the trans people, take away minority voting rights, throw the women back in the kitchen, all of it. That's what they want to run on. They're not backing down. And you understand, the majority of society thinks that's disgusting. They think Charlie Kirk is dead because Democrats lied about him. Okay? And that's why Jimmy Kimmel got fired. The reason there's such a backlash to Jimmy Kimmel is because when he went on TV last Monday and knowingly lied about Charlie Kirk's shooter, you understand, by the time Jimmy Kimmel was on TV Monday night, the FBI had already said it was a liberal hate crime towards the Republican. The mom confirmed it was a liberal hate crime towards the Republican. The sheriff confirmed it was a liberal hate crime towards the Republican. And Jimmy Kimmel got on TV and said, oh, MAGA's doing everything they can to distance themselves from the fact that the killer was one of them. I mean, dude.
What the hell were you thinking?
He was thinking, I live in this liberal elite bubble where despite the fact that I make $16 million a year, host the Oscars, I'm constantly surrounded by A-list celebrities everywhere I go, I am an unhappy human being. I have given politics a power over my life in that I'm never going to truly know joy until my party is in power again. Guys, don't become that person. Whether you're Jimmy Kimmel or you're not, don't become that person. Okay, you live in America, you have a lot of freedom, and you're going to determine so much of your prosperity. Sink or swim, so much of it is going to be predicated on your own work ethic and your ability to police yourselves and discipline yourselves to be the best version of you can be, whatever your job happens to be. Okay, but Jimmy Kimmel got fired because Republicans said, hey, we just got shot because you're lying about us. Now you're trying to get your party off the hook for the fact that we just got shot because they lied about us. And it wasn't just Jimmy Kimmel. I read you 30 tweets on Monday, including like Randy Weingarten, the head of the Teachers Federation, flat out saying it was MAGA. Jameel Hill, flat out saying it was MAGA. Okay, and it wasn't true. And the reason they got fired is most of society is done with this. They're done. They think it's disgusting. Okay? And so the affiliates got wind that the FCC wasn't happy. The affiliates were like, this is our move, boys, because they were going to get rid of him anyway. His contract was up in 6 months. Okay, so lo and behold, he might have sped the plow, but he sped the plow doing exactly what AOC just did. So if you actually think we're done with this, okay, I mean it. Kimmel's going to pop up somewhere and do the we're all Nazis and he got thrown off the air, and he's going to have AOC cheering him on from afar, okay? Is it actually going to work?
Not even close.